Hey Teresa, you're on mute right now. I don't know if you wanted to say anything, but let me get this. How you
Good
doing?
morning. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
Can hear. Okay, we're gonna get this book up. So, what can you? Okay, this is what we want to see. All right. So we are today on chapter 4. So Teresa, were you able to? Kathy, were you guys able to download this book and kind of go through any of it?
No, this is my first meeting. Actually, I'm filling in for Cassandra.
She got a
So
stunt double.
Cassandra could make them. I'm sorry.
She got a stunt double.
Yes, I'm my sister.
Okay, well that's cool. Um,
Yeah.
hopefully you can get some notes from this too. But pretty much everything I'm going to talk about is in the book, and then the rest of it's kind of like workshopping a little bit of what you have going on. So, Kathy, about you, were you able to actually read any of the book before today? You're on mute, Kathy. Uh-huh. There you
Sorry,
go.
I'm so used to being muted.
No worries.
Yeah, I read it yesterday.
Okay, so you got through the whole thing.
Mhm.
Honest opinion. What did you think?
I'm not as much into comics as you are, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not for everybody, but I mean, I don't know. It makes it easy for me to do these things because writing is hard. Trying to organize your thoughts is not exactly simple.
Mhm.
The only way I get through it these days is like Otter. You know, trying to. I don't know if you know what that is, but basically you can transcribe right on your phone, and it comes out as words, and then you can go in there and fix them up. So when you're sitting there trying to figure out what you want to write, whatever it is, an article, a blog post, kind of sitting down in front of a computer or empty screen is kind of like daunting. Oh, where do you start? So you can get on the Otter app and you get like 600 minutes for free, a month of transcription. And basically you just talk into the thing and it puts all your words there. And, it's pretty, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. And then you can go back in there and edit it all. And then now you have your book chapter, your post, whatever you want to put in there. So
Huh.
before I before before Otter, this was kind of like just a bunch of notes. It actually came from a PowerPoint presentation. So I was invited to speak at this real estate meeting, and everybody was talking about wholesaling and fixing flips and all that. And I was just kind of like, well, uh, why do I want to talk about what everybody else talks about? That's kind of where this presentation came from. This was like, hey, how do you stand out in real estate or anything really, and build a name? And that's kind of where this came from. So for
Right.
those of you just joining us, my name's Jason. I am the author of this travesty of a book. But it made me laugh doing it, so I knew I was on the right track. It might not be for everybody, but if you do something and it makes you laugh, I think you're on the right track. So that's my opinion. Um, so in the weeks before, we kind of went through. I'm gonna kind of screen through this. Basically coming up with who you are in the market. Some kind of, I call it a nickname, superhero name, whatever you want to call it. And these characters kind of represent all the faces of what I did. And, you could do something similar, right? And you don't have to be me, you can be you. But who you are is kind of important, who you want to be in the marketplace. So I tell everybody, like, take what you love to do and then what you want to do and put them together like chocolate and peanut butter. So you get this Reese's peanut butter cup of you that everybody can enjoy. And so what does that mean? Well, one lady who was into real estate, she was like, I love wine. So I was like, well, why don't you create call it the wine lady? And it could be like wine to play on the words like people wine, or it could just be wine. And then when you advertise your properties, you can have part of it's about the property and you rate properties like you would like a wine, like how they say it's like a red or a white, or it's like I got a smoky taste. I don't know, but it's treated like if you're a sommelier, and the reason why is because it makes people want to open your email even if they don't necessarily want to buy a house right now. But people who drink wine obviously are people of means, people who appreciate it, and so that would be a good way to get into the heads and minds of your future customers. Because realistically, how many times do people buy a house in their lifetime? Once, twice, some investors more than that. But, you want them to think of you whenever they're going to make that big purchase. So this is kind of how you get inside their head. And that could be another lady who jumped on here. She was into, cooking and recipes. And I was like, well, you can be, you could market in your email marketing and your marketing like recipes and houses, and like what's the recipe for a good deal could kind of be like one recipe card, and then a real recipe could be another card. And in your social media you could actually cook and talk about real estate. Like these are all the things you could come up with. So finding who you are and what you really love is going to make you stand out. And like I said, a nickname, I mean, you might have a nickname somebody used to call you, or you can call yourself something, or it could be around real estate. It could be about anything. But the point is, if there's 100, for example, if there's 100 Ginas that are real estate agents, but then it's like Gina the Giant. And then it's like, okay, I remember that Gina. Or with me, it was Daddy's Fast Cash. So it was like, there was a lot of Jasons that were wholesalers. It was like, well, hi, my name's Jason. Who? I get so many letters in the mail. It's like Daddy's Fast Cash. And they're like, oh, you're that daddy guy. I like your whatever, like your marketing. Cause I used to send like, my marketing materials were like top 10 reasons you want to sell your house. It's haunted. You hate your neighbors, da, da, da. And I would just do funny stuff to make myself laugh, and they would remember that. So it was kind of like a way to break the ice and also stick in their head. So when you did call them, you already broke the ice and had a rapport with them somewhat through your marketing.
Well, I have a
So
question.
yes.
So I'm doing two different brands. As a real estate agent, I'm Kathy Sells Boston. And as an investor, I'm just at a generic Mass House Partners. So there's no like persona or anything, but that's just the name of my LLC. So yeah, go ahead.
What your LLC is does not matter in your branding.
Okay.
So many people think that. And to be honest, it's always better not to have an LLC with a house or real estate name in it if you ever want to get business credit, because it kind of triggers the idea that you could suddenly hit, the market could crash and their money crashes along with it. So anytime you create an LLC, I would try to make it more generic. Like one of mine was Gorillas in the Mix. Another one was De Leon Assets Management. Another one was Cashflow Copilot. Another one was JKL Unlimited. So you can have these names, but they don't really matter in your branding, because at the end of the day, they just do transactions really. And when you're signing a contract, I mean, it's usually your name. It could be the name of your company too, but when you're branding, it really doesn't matter. You could be Kathy the Closer. You could be, whatever you want to be, and still use that entity. So don't get caught up in the entity part of it. What I tell everybody is always just go put your name, get your domain name for your own name. And then if you want to come up with some names, like in this part, this chapter 2 is, once you kind of come across a name, you want to actually try to go find it on Google, and see if it's actually an URL that somebody took yet. And obviously the more creative, the better, because all the good ones and the easy ones are taken. And I would suggest going to Namecheap to buy, because they're the cheapest. Plus there's always coupons on Honey. You put Honey and Namecheap together, you can get your domain names for probably half the price of what you would get on GoDaddy. So that's another kind of little tip there. But yeah, getting your name, you can kind of go through some variations of that, and it'll evolve. But I would say go grab your definitely your name spelled out as a domain if you can get it.
I did.
Yeah, if you can get it. And then like whatever your nickname you want it to be, and you can play with spellings and stuff like that. Like I said, if you wanted it to be Kathy the Closer, it could be Kathy the Closer with a K. Obviously you don't want to put 3 Ks, because then you're going to have some
No.
problems.
That would be bad. Well, no, my nickname is actually on my license plate from college. It's Hones, not Holmes with an M, but Hones with an N.
But you can you could actually use that. You could call it,
Yeah.
you could call yourself Kathy Holmes, and that might be a decent branding. Like I said, play with it, but also don't go beyond mixing, like I said, mixing a hobby or a love of yours, a passion of yours with it, because that is going to make people remember you. everybody's got similar names, but nobody is like, like I said, like in your market, Kathy the closer, right? In my market, Mike McCann, the real estate man. In my market, Daddy's Fast Cash. In my home, Escape Your 9 to 5, Homes Loans, stuff like that. Like, just look for alliteration, look for rhyming, but you got to be comfortable with it because you're going to be with it for a long time. And again, it
Right,
can
I was
evolve.
thinking of Hones Homes.
That, what's that?
I was thinking of Hones Homes because my license plate says Hones, which is my nickname for Mahoney.
And that right there isn't bad. Homes is kind of like, it rings a bell and it's just a spelling thing and it might actually not even be taken. So
Yeah.
I would definitely grab that.
All right.
So when it comes to, when you finally get that and you want to start figuring out like branding and stuff like that, there's Fiverr and 99 Designs, and I kind of go through, I like 99 Designs simply because a lot of people will bid on it, but you can achieve the same thing with Fiverr cheaper and just hire 4 people at the same time and figure out which one you like the best. And then you just go with that one. I mean, at the end of the day, it's still a cheap way to get multiple, not bids, but just people kind of working on your project. And then once you find that person, you can just keep hiring them to do more and more like I did. Yeah, I mean, I'm breezing through this because it's kind of just a review from the last part. Cool story, bro. Like, what's your story? Like, why do you do all this? Everybody should have a bigger why than just I need to make money. And then it goes like, well, I need to feed my family. Yeah, everybody needs to feed their family, but why? Well, one of my sons has special needs. There it starts to get a little bit, back into the story. It's like, okay, well, I have a special needs kid. The deeper you go into your story of sharing and kind of why you do things, 2 things. One, when people hear it, they attach to you more emotionally. And 2, it's also your North Star. It's what motivates you. And when you're not necessarily feeling it or feeling up to people's BS for the day or just, in a bad mood or whatever, that why kind of pushes everything to the side because now it's like, well, this is bigger than that. This is my North Star. This is the sun. This is the moon. When it's dark, I have this light, right? So you got to come up with what that is for yourself. I don't know in each person's case what that is, but you should start thinking about that because you should start sharing that story. And I share it a lot and I'm sharing it right now. I mean, I have it right here. I want to be instrumental in the adoption of 100 kids before I die. So everything I do, and amazing, I spelled it wrong in there. But anyway, everything I do goes towards that. So even this branding thing, like I come from a real estate background. This branding part, I'm helping the Alchemist Nation because they have a mission to make 1,000 millionaires, right? And I want to be responsible for some share of that. Why? Because if I help people to make money, then they remember me. And then if they ever have a question about adoption, then I become a resource to them. They remember, oh, that's the guy that has, adopted all these kids and he's about adoption. And, he did help me. So like, let me talk to him. And, it's working. It's working not as fast as I would like because I want 100 and right now I've only done 8, but I just got a call yesterday from a friend and he's talking about 2 more. So I got my fingers crossed for that because that's numbers for me. But yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have to adopt them all. I just have to help people in that process. So that's kind of my big why. Everything I do, these free calls and, if I write a book, if I do a course, anything I do, it all goes towards that in my head. And I plant that seed like inception and people come back to it. So I don't know what yours is. I mean, you might want to say, I'm going to build a village in Haiti. I went to climb a mountain with my my disabled son. I want to, like, whatever it is, it's your story, but just make that the thing you do it for. Right. I hope that makes sense. It also helps other people to get on board because you would be surprised how many people probably have a similar story to yours and how they become a fan of yours just from your story. I know I'm breezing through this because I actually got to be off by 11:45, but this is all in here. And these actually are animations that made me laugh. If you could see this, these actually dance if this was the PowerPoint presentation, but we're on a PDF, so we don't have that technology. One day. All right, so warning, graphic content, right? So what what, I kind of just said, it's like your business plus your passions plus your secret sauce equals super you. That this is where you're going to, you're going to have a lot of ideas, but once you get comfortable with one, you just latch onto it, and that becomes, your path. As you can see, I'm into comic books. I say it. I do all these kind of things. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, but you got to find what's right for you. You might be into other things, flowers, motorcycles. Real estate is obviously a passion. I mean, part of the real estate passion could be designing, and if you're into Airbnbs, if you do Airbnb and you're actually a designer and an interior designer, like that's a great marriage of things. And if you were like me and you were like into Airbnbs and you're into comic books, I didn't quite do it. I almost did, but I wanted to make like Airbnbs based around the Avengers. Like it was like the whole house was like a room for each Avenger, but I never got around to it. I never found the right house, and it kind of didn't work in the market I was in, but I thought it was a sweet idea, and maybe one day I'll do it. I don't know. But that's the stuff that makes me happy. What makes you happy is kind of up to you. You're going to use this energy, this creativity, these ideas, and wrap them all into your real estate marketing somehow. I don't know how that's going to work for you, but with me, when I used to wholesale houses as the character of Daddy's Fast Cash, it was kind of like I talk about this house, this destroyed house, and I would not sugarcoat it. I would talk about that, and then I would talk about other funny things I found, maybe on the internet, a funny picture. I mean, all these pictures, like this is what my emails used to look like. Not this busy, but it would be like something funny, something that has nothing to do with real estate, and then real estate. And then from that, even when times were tough, like I always was able to generate income because people wanted to open my emails because they wanted to see what I was going to say next. And that can be the same thing for you. Don't try to worry about appealing to everybody. When you build a tribe, your tribe consists of people like you, the people you would want to do business with. Think about it. Like, could you imagine if, I mean, I don't know. I kind of think like if you're in your McDonald's and you have customers, and some are nice and some are not so nice. Like who do you vibe with? Who do you really want to like serve, right? And you'll get that from their attitude. So there's always going to be people who are, crappy, got a bad attitude, want to pick apart everything you say, and you don't want to waste a lot of energy on those people. So if you have to be divisive, if you have to, talk about something like, church or something that maybe pushes some people away, don't worry about it because that's not your people, right? So you're able to mix the two together, and what you end up building is you divide people who love you or they hate you, but you don't leave anybody in the middle to just not even care about you, right? You want obviously people to like you, but if they don't like you, even better, because they're still talking about you. It's when they don't care about you, that's the problem. You're a delete, you're an ignore, all your efforts go to waste. So don't worry about appealing to everybody. Be the authentic you, because there are people out there that will appreciate for you and all your authenticity and your sideways jokes. And if you cuss a little bit, and you're not so polished, and if you speak a different language even, and you sprinkle that in there, and you want to talk about maybe gossip or something like that, maybe you like to do that, just wrap your head around that. Stop thinking about I'm a professional. No, you're a person. The profession you do is different than who you are. So let them see a little bit of who you are. I'm not saying go on there and get in fights with people on the internet or anything like that, but don't be afraid to show like you have a side. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. Because it goes to this. Inside of here, I would say I would like you guys to. So Jab Jab Right Hook is a really good book, and I think that free download link still works. 1,000 True Fans, really get into that, because the idea of that is simply anybody with 1,000 true fans that actually are customers of some sort or another, you can live a decent life. So what's it going to take you to get to 1,000 true fans? You might have to do in the beginning some things that don't scale. In other words, build up your Instagram and reply to everybody. And that could take some time. or TikTok, go to a lot of meetings and shake a lot of hands. In the beginning, you got to get yourself out there any way you can. And then from that, you get to find the people that you really connect with and pour a lot into them. If they're your fan, you be their fan. And I say be a fan of everybody you like. Like, don't be afraid to not gush, but like talk about people. Like one of the things I like to do is like, my thing is I'm dadpreneur, right? And so all these dads I run into that write books, I buy their books. I don't even know if I'm going to read them all, but the point is, like anybody doing something that I admire, like I'll buy their stuff and I'll put it on, post on it, and I'll celebrate them and I'll push it out there. And then like they see that and they're like, wow, like this dude, like, he cares about me. So whether they reciprocate or not was never my point. My point is, if you like something, be a fan of it, or you like somebody, be a fan of them, and just be authentic. And over time, that adds up. Russell Brunson's book, what is it called? Not Expert Secrets, Traffic Secrets. It's kind of a breakdown of how to kind of build up that kind of idea where you look for your top 100 and you kind of just focus all your energy on getting into that circle. Whoever it is you admire in the industry of whatever you're doing, you want to become a super fan of those people and like just follow everything they do and comment on what they do, because eventually some of them are going to appreciate it and some of them are going to reach out, and that's all you need. You just need a couple of 3 influencers of a type to really kind of celebrate you. And after so much compliments, I mean, people are just like, well, they want to see what you're about, because they're like, man, this person really likes me. Let me see if I like them. And that's how these things happen. But there's also your tribe. In other words, there's the people who you've met out in the real world or through email or social media or whatever, that vibed with you and whatever it is. Maybe they thought you had a cool name. Maybe they thought you were cute. Maybe they liked your jokes. Maybe, whatever. The point is, when somebody pays you that attention, be a fan back. It doesn't have to always work out. I mean, one of the weirdest fans that I have is my 2nd grade teacher. And she's always on Facebook and she's just like overpraising me. And I don't even know what to do with it besides just respond to her or whatever. I like her stuff, whatever. But it feels weird. But at the end of the day, like, it's still energy and it's directed at you, and you got to appreciate that. So you don't always have to like be on an authentic and respond back, because sometimes you just don't know what to say to somebody back. Is like, thank you. Okay, thank you. Go with that. But always treat it like, it's gold, because it is. Attention is gold. I mean, that is what everybody wants today. And you every time you get a little bit, you fan that ember and you start to build up your tribe. You might even give them a cool nickname, like, I don't know who, I'm trying to think of somebody who, well, I know on YouTube, they call themselves different things. What is it? Can my kids watch it? Well, Bam Fam is one, and I'm part of that. That's like a kind of a mastermind group. And there's, who are the kids on YouTube, and they sell t-shirts, and it's this, and they give themselves last names. It's weird, but there's like a whole tribe of people that are like they're fans. They'll, Steven Starter, something like that. It's like a fan thing. Anyway, they all give themselves the same last name, whatever their first name, and then they call themselves this similar last name, and that's their fan base. So, whatever it takes. I mean, you can figure out that for yourself and what that does for you. So, yep. So the easiest place to start building your tribe and your brand is obviously social media of some kind. How do you find your people? You be authentic. Once they know your story, and they can decide for themselves if they like you. Don't try to appeal to everybody. It's a mistake. It's too much work, and honestly, it won't make you happy. You and your people are going to find each other in your tribe, and you'll begin to form by yourselves. You don't have to go broad, go deep to establish brand loyalty. I can't tell you how many times as a wholesaler that I would joint venture with somebody's deal that the person actually knew that the actual contract holder, they just did not like them. Now imagine that somebody wants to buy something from you, but they don't want to buy it from you. They want to buy it from somebody else that they know is going to make money. but they don't want to buy from that person because they think that person's an asshole. And that's real talk. So you can make money just being nice. And even if you want to co-wholesale or joint venture, that is a real thing. It's happened to me. And I kind of think it's funny, but at the end of the day, like, you know, you're not going to vibe with anybody, and you shouldn't take it personal if somebody doesn't like you. You should just find another person who they do like and sell it to them, because you're still making money off that person. So anyway, but yeah, look at these books, go to these links. I would say check this stuff out to kind of wrap your mind around how to start, you know, crafting your brand a little bit more, and then, you know, review the chapters. And that's it for the review of this chapter. And I'm going to just let you guys ask any questions that you might have about in general until I got to wrap it up. So any questions?
This is really good stuff.
Thank you kindly. It's just years of tinkering, to be honest with you. So I think everybody, there's lots of people out there. Oh, this is how you build a brand. And all they do is they tell you, make a nice logo and pick your color.
Right.
But I think the only person that really goes deep into this kind of stuff, Donald Miller, Building a Story Brand. He gets deep into that kind of stuff. And if you can even apply some of it, let me show you. I can show you the book that way in case you guys want to get it. All right, where did you go? Yeah, this one. And you know, that Gary Vaynerchuk, of course, but like this is a pretty good one too if you want to start to kind of wrap your head around ways to craft your story into your brand. I'll put that back later. But yeah, anybody want to kind of like get my opinion on what they want to build and see what it sounds like? Because usually that's where the magic happens. Last week I had a guy on, and it was really only him, and he was telling me, yeah, you know, I want to be in real estate, but I got this casket business. And he started explaining it to me. And I was like, it's like, man, stop worrying about real estate right now and make that, put a couple pieces together and make that your brand, the Casket Man. And I'm going to tell you why. You can become a real estate investor by making your business become a cash cow. And then he said, I got 2 properties. And I was like, well, what does it take you to buy those properties, put the money into them, put them back together, get renters in there, like time-wise? And he's like, well, it took a lot of time. Well, you know, first of all, like if you're going to get into real estate, you should just like that neighborhood, those 2 houses in that should just be your only farm area. You should just surround the block in 2 blocks and say anything in these blocks, I'm your guy. Like, don't sell to nobody else. I want them. So now you can pay a little bit more than all the investors, but you've consolidated and you know a neighborhood, and you don't have to like recreate the wheel every time you have to go put your, you know, your BRR method back together. Like all the comps are the same. Maybe you're raising the comps. Like your job becomes a lot easier if you just focus on that one little piece of real estate and then wholesale everything else. Other thing too is if he's the casket guy, what he does is he sells people very, you know, caskets for funerals, but way cheaper. Like if it costs you 10 grand at the funeral home, it only, you know, he can get it to you for like less than 5, right? So it helps people, and they started to come into them. I said, just hit that hard, just make a little brand around there, automate it. And then, you know, when you make that money, you put it into that neighborhood, and then any marketing, anything that comes your way that's not in your little, you know, neighborhood, you wholesale it out. And said that right there. And then because you're the casket guy, every person you helped with a casket is a follow-up in a few months, or even during the process. Like, hey, if somebody's got something to sell, you know, think about me. I buy real estate too. Just, you know, take care of your family. And then, but you already saved their butt financially on one end, on the front end. So you already built the trust that you can do right by them. So when it comes time to possibly sell the house, you have a very targeted, probably eager to sell estate and you know, estate list, estate sale kind of list to go through, that you can just farm that and don't do nothing more than that. And you could just build your whole business off of those 2 things. So that's why I say share with me, because that came out of the conversation we just had then. And he was like, oh my God, yeah, that's great. I think I'm gonna do that. If he does it, I don't know, but that's what I would do. So I don't know if you guys have ideas you want to run by me, but now's the time.
Well, I've got three niches that make up most of my real estate agent clientele. So it's all over the place, but they just gravitate towards me. I don't advertise to them specifically.
That's not bad. What are the three?
Well, I have first time buyers, which are really hard right now. And I have my
Hard.
investors.
You say they're hard to deal with, or hard like because there's like
No,
not
I
a
love them, but they all need mortgages and we're getting outbid on everything, but they're getting drowned in the multiple offer scenarios right now. So there's not, I make excellent offers with them and I put them in the strongest position they can, but you can't be crazy and you can't be cash. So,
true, true.
and then I do advertise towards investors a lot. And the third one, I'm just starting working with a few more now, is seniors, because I want them to sell their properties when they downsize and then I could sell them to my investors.
Okay. Well, I know that first time home buyers are a lot of work.
Yes.
A lot of work.
Mhm.
Have you systematized that yet before you moved on to these other two?
I don't really have a system towards any one of the three. They just gravitate towards me.
Mhm. Probably, I mean, I would say before you go bigger, because there are three types of
Totally.
buyers.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess finding the if you were doing a Venn diagram where they kind of intersect. Well, first time home buyers, it's kind of like just having it so set up of a level of expectation. Now, if you were to have investor buyers, and so I have something, okay, US Housing Exchange. What we have there is a investors could so it's kind of like a to Z kind of process. If you were getting your credit repaired, you would go through this app, and then there's inventory starting to be put on there. Now, some of it's wholesaler inventory and some of it's other inventory. But as people come through the credit repair process, the idea of a house, they have that dream, but they're not as picky because they know that because of their credit, they have limited choices, and it's a hot market. So what we've created is a way for people to get directed. These people that are getting to the point where they can buy a house, the mortgage is sitting there waiting at the end of them just to complete their tasks. They get pointed to our particular inventory. So starting to fill it up with wholesaler deals. Now their investors can come in and say drop 30 to 50 grand into a deal and have it totally done with cameras pointed to their rehab and everything. So they don't have to necessarily be in their own backyard. They could do it, remotely. And their properties don't necessarily even have to hit the MLS because they now are creating the pool of, they have the pool of buyers is waiting here for their properties. So we're sort of matching them together. And this whole process is being done already kind of in Jersey now. And we're trying to crack Texas now and Florida. But what I'm going to say is that for yourself, you could either maybe kind of, get into that system, which, I could certainly send you some information or just some of it and kind of guide you through it. But in your own, if you can create your own version of that, is like having investors that have properties that you can say, can you, since I brought you to this property, because I know wholesalers who used to do that. It's like, look, I bring you this deal, two things. One, this is the wholesale price. And two, you're committing for me to be the listing agent. So
Oh, I do that. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of investors are agents. So you have to understand that that's not always going to work. But
Mhm.
the ones that aren't, it's like, this is the deal. So you could say, and the reason why is because I'm bringing, I have these first time home buyers that are itching for this stuff and I want to bring them first, and, you get your price. And of course, everybody's going to go for the most money. On the one side, I want to pay the least. On the other side, I want to get the most. And you're going to have to navigate that. But if you start bringing those two things together, it could work. And then your seniors, a lot of that's going to be education. And I don't know if you're dealing with it yet, but reverse mortgages are a pain in the butt. Like,
Yeah.
they don't even work. So obviously staying away from that situation if you can.
I want them to sell. I don't want them to stay there.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but like if they're walking away from a reverse mortgage, the mortgage has no incentive to sell to you at any kind of discount. They already, they're like, they have the number in their head that they're gonna do. So um I would just try to find some maybe an investor or developer to say, hey, are you making any kind of like tiny homes or anything like that that I can push, put some of my seniors to. I mean, that's a way to kind of do it. But homes is not a bad way to like wrap all that in. You just have to have some systems around it. I mean, that's all I could say about that.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Sure thing. Anybody else got any pressing questions? And just to let you know, anybody who did walk in late, I will shoot out the replay after I upload it to YouTube. So if I went too fast or something passed you by, or you want to refer to something I said and you didn't get enough notes, this is recorded and you can catch that either through the Alchemist website or Facebook group, and I also send it out to as like to the emails that come in through the registration for the Zoom the registration. So don't worry if you missed something. That's all I'm saying. I don't know. Anybody else got anything they need to learn? They have questions about branding in general. I'm here for another few minutes. What's this? Yeah, got about 6 more minutes. Or we can end it now with a bang. I could put some music on. see if.
I do have one more question.
Yeah, sure.
I don't want to dominate. If anybody else wants to talk, please. But what if, so say I create like homes, right? And that'll be the little persona person and Instagram and all this stuff. But it will say, okay, if you want to, wholesalers, go to my Mass House Partners, page, and that tells you how to connect with my cash buyers. And I can say, oh, hey, seniors, if you're looking, I don't think the seniors would be involved in that, but if I can use that as my persona, but then point it towards my real estate agent job or point it towards my real estate investor business.
I would say you're gonna make like a page, so your website, and then it's like there's tabs usually, and it's like investors go here, seniors, I don't know, you can divide them, and then you have a video for each one.
Yeah.
You just pretty much tell everybody, look, these are the only 3 type of people I deal with. Okay. And just focus on those if that's what you want. I mean, 2 types is better, 1 type is the best, but again, you're dealing with different, you got to do what you got to do to make money. So at the end of the day, but just definitely be clear about like who gets what in that whole thing. It's a different message, it's a different video, but they all feed to one thing, and homes is the umbrella that keeps all of them going on. So inside of homes, it could be like homes on new homes, and that could be our new home buyers, and play off of that, and that's a one video. And then homes on fixer upper homes, and then homes on downsize homes, and like you could just keep playing with the wording of that, and each page is a different thing. And then your marketing. So the thing about social media and all that is, documenting. The easiest thing to do is just to document what you're doing. It doesn't have to be fancy. It just has to be concise. And people they don't want long, they want short. So it could just be a tip. 5 things homeowners should know. Boom, 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 1 minute. And that's it. Or you could be like a series, and because it takes longer, and you make 5 videos out of it, but they're all 1 minute videos. And that's kind of becomes your social media. And then, those are, that'll fit on Facebook Reels. I mean, Facebook usually is 20 seconds, but they carry over if you do them from Instagram. You got 30, 60 seconds. YouTube Shorts are up to 60 seconds. So like that 1 minute and under mark is good for like TikTok and all these other things, which you can kind of just play with and use the same thing across all the channels, right? But then you have all these like little videos, and then you can just put them together into one bigger video, and that's a whole nother video. So you see what I'm saying? These are just little building blocks, but just start small, start with a couple tips. It's you on a phone like this, and don't do like this anymore, because people don't watch it like this anymore unless you're doing a movie. You do it like this, and it's like just go with it. It doesn't have to be that fancy. You get something like Canva, you upload it, you can put a beginning and an end on it. Between Canva and Canva, you could even use the free version, but the paid one is better because you can do videos and animations and all this crazy stuff. An in-shot video on your phone, like literally all these little things, you can cut them down nice and easy. Just take the beginning and the end off, throw your little branding on there. At the end, I wouldn't even do it in the beginning because it wastes time. People want to get right to the point. With the first 3 seconds, they want you to get to the point. I'm going to show you how to make a good deal on your house, and here's how, and then go through it, and then that's it. That's what I said, and boom, the ending, like your little logo and stuff like that, and the call to action. Obviously, go here for more information. Go here to get your home, start your application. Go here to cut my buyers list. Boom, start doing that. Nice little tight 30-second, 1-minute pieces on your phone. Do it all on your phone, and just get used to that. And even I kind of get stuck with that, but you do enough of them and that becomes your library. So
Okay, good idea.
JW asks, all right, where are you at? You can unmute yourself, JW. Yeah. What can you do if you already had your branding campaign in place and you've done everything the gurus have told you to do, but you're still not getting any traction? Little or no new leads, contacts, clients, customers, not exactly right. Or would you suggest an entirely new makeover with a new brand, revised campaign, etc.? Pivot or try to improve on what you already have, even though you've already tried everything in your advisor could think of for the brand name you started with. I'm gonna, can he talk? I'm gonna stop this share just because it's big. Can you, oh man, you know what, JW, where are you at? Let me see if I can help you out with that. Ask to unmute, because I gotta bounce. Tell you what, I'm gonna, on Facebook, you can just reach to me. I'm just gonna put it in here, my Facebook thing, and you can kind of reach out to me and I can see what I need to know more. I can't give you, there's no simple answer to your question. So I can't give you a good answer just based off of that. It'd take a while. So I don't want to do you wrong. I'm just going to say that's my Facebook. You guys are in the chat. Also, part of the Alchemist Nation. I mean, there's a lot of things you could tap into. Okay, it was a hypothetical. Like a doctor, I don't know. I can't deal with hypotheticals. I got to deal with reality. And so if there's symptoms of something, I got to go deeper into it. Same thing as if you were, trying to assess a house with hypotheticals. You need the real facts so that you can do a real rehab number and do real ARVs. You can't go with, well, what if the plumbing's bad? And what if there's windows behind the walls that somebody covered up? And what if there's I don't know. Like you just gotta, each thing is specific to that particular house, problem, person, brand, and they need a deeper assessment than a hypothetical, because that's just too broad. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, guys, just wanted to, let me see one more time. Let me share this one. I don't know if you guys know about this or not, but every Saturday we do this 52 Millionaires Wealth Principles with Walter Amarello tomorrow, 10, and it's 52 weeks of mindset and learning, and it's free. And if you're part of the Alchemist Nation, great. If you're not, and you're ready to check that out, there's also a free book. If I can find it, I can give you the link. And well, let me see, somewhere in here. I don't know. Speak up if you're interested in the free book link, because I got to go find it real quick. But I'll find it if you want to get the free real estate book. And if anybody speaks up, then you've answered. Okay, so let me get it right now. Put it inside the in the chat and leave it for a second. And then you guys can, I think it's just the shipping you gotta pay for, but that's usually the deal. It might be $1, something cheap. Here's that link. Where'd you go? All right. Last time I checked, it was free, but they might have changed it to $1 or something. I don't know. But and there's a reason, but hopefully that's not going to kill you. Chat. Okay, guys. All right. So JW got the book already. Cool. Sabrina, we got you. So in the link. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's not the book. All All right, where's the book? Crap. I thought I made a mistake here. Where'd you go? Forgive me. There it is. Somehow I did the wrong thing. So here's the free book link. All right, guys. That should get you there. And I'm actually reading it now. It's pretty good. I mean, I know most of this stuff already, but it's solid stuff. And of course, I'm like I said, I support everybody as much as I can. So if you write a book, I'll probably buy it. Hopefully, it's good. And yeah, I think that's it for me. I got a boogie. I got to go set up a family trust, and it's going to take me like 40 minutes to get there. So
What was the name of the book? Because that just popped up ClickFunnels on my computer.
it's downstairs. I will tell you. Huh. Well, you know what? They changed something because it was right there. Okay. Sorry about that.
Not that I'm
I'm
against
gonna-
ClickFunnels. It's
No,
nice.
but yeah, but they're revamping everything, so they might have changed the link, and I have to find out what that is. So I will let them know. Thank you for that.
Sure.
And if anything, just touch base with me again next week or whatever, and I'll get you that. Okay.
Thank you.
So thank you guys. Hopefully this was useful. Again, go through the book. Tap in tomorrow if you want into the free meeting. There, I think you can still see the 52 WalterAmarello.com live. That'll get you in there, and I should be in there tomorrow too. I'm probably going to be on quiet because it's usually noisy in my house around that time. I got 6 kids, so if you don't see me on camera, that's because there's literally Armageddon going on behind me, and you don't want no parts of that. So.
Thanks.
All right, guys, appreciate you showing up today. This was awesome, and I will get you the replay sometime between the day and the weekend through your email. So if that's what I got for you. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this, and I think that's it for me. I'm out. Bye, guys.
Bye.